Okay, so this is just going to be a wrap-up lecture for the section on the for loops. And for this, I'm going to start at one of the reasonably simple programs. It's the input 10 numbers. And the reason I'm starting with that is because the ones that follow all follow on from that. So I'm going to be including, I'm going to have to start from somewhere, so that's where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to save this file as a Now, so we have to input 10 numbers, so I'm going to make an integer called I, and that's going to be used as my counter for the number of times that we're going to run. And I'm also going to make an integer for the number that I'm going to input. I'm going to write a for loop, and I have my initial condition that I is assigned 0 to start off with. I'm going to go from I at a value of 0 up to smaller than 10. Now that will still include, that'll include 10 whole numbers because it'll obviously include 0, so 0 to 9 is 10 numbers, and I'm going to include my increment, which is the I++. What do I want to happen the 10 times? Well, firstly I want to ask the user to input a number. And I then want to scan in that number. I'm taking in an integer, so I'm going to use %d. Don't forget my ampersand, and that's going into num. And semicolon on that. Finally, I'm just going to print out what I've taken in. And print out the number that I've taken in. Okay, I would put in a system pause there, except for the fact that I'm using the later version of DevC, and therefore it does that automatically. So just compile and build there. Please input a number, number 2. Number you entered is 2, 3. Keep doing this and see how many of them it does. Okay, and it's ended at that. So the first number I put in is 2, the last number I put in is 11, and there were 10 of those numbers altogether. Okay, so that's the input 10 numbers. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to sum the 10 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to include a variable called sum here, and I'm going to set that to an initial value of 0. That's vitally important in this particular exercise because we need to start from somewhere, and we're going to be adding things to this sum. So what I write is I write sum is assigned sum plus num, which is the new number that comes in each case. So the important thing here is that the previous value of sum, which in the first case is going to be 0, num gets added to that, the new number, and that goes into sum, and the next time round it contains that number. It gets the next number added to it. It now contains the complete sum, and that happens 10 times until the end. Important to realize that you don't print out the total sum until after the loop is finished, or otherwise you'll get a partial sum. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up the numbers. In this case, my user is going to add up the numbers between 1 and 10. Okay, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10, and it should come to 55 if I'm correct, and it has said 5D is my answer, so that's definitely not correct. So I've obviously forgotten to do something. I've put in a 5 instead of a percent sign. So we're going to have to start again. Now you'll notice that that didn't come up as a compiler. That's a runtime error, because as far as this is concerned, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. You might want to type 5D on the screen. 10, it should come out as 55, and the total sum is 55, so that bit's working now. Okay. The next thing we want to do is get the average of 10 numbers. Now this is just a very minor modification to the program, in that what we want to do in this particular case is we want to get the average. Now the average, normally put that as a float. Float. Okay. We're taking in 10 numbers, so what we're going to do is we're going to say average is assigned sum, which is our total, divided by 10. Now I'm just going to divide it by 10, but that's going to give me the incorrect answer, and then I'll show you what I should do it as. These are the things to be wary of. Now, sorry, %f, because we're dealing with a float. Now, you'll recall that in the last case, what I did was I added up the numbers between 1 and 10, and that gave me 55. So let's use that example again. And so our average should be 5.5, which is 55 divided by 10, but it'll come out as, or I expect it to come out as 5.0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so the total sum is 55, but the average is 5.000. And the reason for that is that sum is an integer, and so is 10. An integer divided by an integer gives us an integer result, and so what I should really do is divide that by 10.0, and that would solve my problem. It would then give me a floating point result. So let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm now getting an average. Total sum is 55, and the average is 5.5. Okay. So I'm going to finish that recording at that, and in the next wrap-up recording I'll do the average grade, and then we'll finish off the factorial of a number.